there, fellow trekkers. I'm Linda, your park ranger, here to introduce today's adventure. You might hear me in the background as we navigate the trail together. Today, we're setting off on an intermediate hike to explore Canva's AI tools, also known as the Magic Studio. This will be a broad overview of a number of AI tools, such as Canva Code, Canva AI Design, and using a plethora of AI video, audio, and image editing tools in the design studio. Basically, if you love Canva and want to get a flyby of Canva's emerging AI features, this hike is for you. We recommend having a little bit of prior Canva experience to participate in this hike. As you explore, you can keep following the Canva Trail or blaze a new one. We've mapped out beginner, intermediate, and advanced trails for every level of EdTech hiker, covering a range of powerful classroom technology tools. Can't spot the next landmark on your journey? Check back soon. We're always adding new trails to explore. Even better, subscribe so you never miss a new path to discovery. Lace up your boots. It's time to hit the trail. So we have a lot of AI tools in Canva to go over today. So before we do that, I wanted to introduce myself. Hello, I'm Linda DeYoung. You might have seen me before. I'm the LTC's online learning program manager, which is just a fancy way of saying that I do all of their online things. So webinars, workshops, podcasts, online courses. If you've interacted with any of those in the past, you might have interacted with me. Let's go ahead and get started because I'm super excited to go on today's trusty little hike for AI tools in Canva. Canva is one of my favorite tools to talk about, to tell people about, because it's just such an incredible tool for educators. We are not sponsored by Canva. I'm getting nothing for saying this. I just really love Canva and want to share it with educators. So for today's session, we are going to go over a lot of AI tools in Canva. We're going to try to get to as many of them as possible, but just know that there are so many AI tools in Canva that we might not cover, and they're coming out with new AI tools all the time. So just earlier this week, they had another keynote main stage session. They do that sometimes, and they just dropped a bunch of brand new features that are going to be rolling out here very soon. So they're always updating. If there's something that you've played with that I don't cover in today's session, just know that it's because there's so much to cover. All right. The link on the screen there, you hopefully can see it. This is going to be your workbook. So if you type ltc.site /AI Canva workbook into your browser, or into a tab on your browser, you can access this Canva presentation and it will be editable for you. So it's going to be a template link, meaning that you'll click use as template, and that will be your own copy that you can play with for today's session. All right. Let's get into Canva's AI features. Today's structure, we are going to be walking through this workbook together to really practice using all these AI features as much as possible. So what exactly is Magic Studio? This is what Canva calls its AI. It calls it the Magic Studio. So this is all of the AI-powered tools that Canva offers to teachers, both just like Canva Code, Canva AI, but also things like video editing tools, audio editing tools, photo editing tools. There's all kinds of AI tools available in the Magic Studio. Today, we're going to try to go over Canva Code, Canva AI, some visuals, Magic Switch, AI Voice, Magic Media, and Magic Write. It's quite ambitious, but I'm going to try to get through all of it. If you want to learn more about Magic Studio just in general, Canva actually has a great splash page with all of their Magic Studio features. It's this little link down here. So if you click this link, it'll take you to their webpage with all their Magic Studio tools, and you can peruse that or browse it in the future. So let's hop into what is Canva AI. So Canva AI is just a way to have a creative partner to kind of bring ideas to life. Think of it like a Gemini or a ChatGPT or another type of chatbot. Canva has their own kind of built in to the Canva Design Studio. So to find this, we're actually going to go over to Canva, and I'm going to show you what it looks like before we hop over there. So when you're on your homepage of Canva, this should look pretty familiar if you've used Canva before. You're probably used to navigating to your designs and templates and searching either designs you've made or designs you want to make. But now there's a brand new tab called Canva AI. And what this tab does for you is it allows you to access that kind of chat bot in Canva. At the bottom, it tells you all the different things that you can do with this chatbot. We're going to explore 3 of those. The first one is creating student activities. This one is brand new. I think it might be in beta, so they might be rolling out more features with it in the future. It has a lot of potential because you can create specifically student activities like worksheets, whiteboards, different types of just activities in general for your students. And you can customize those by grade, subject, and learning purpose. So we'll get into that in just a minute. Put a pin in that. The second thing that the Canva AI Studio does that we'll explore is just being able to describe an idea or a design, and Canva will create options in whatever format you choose. So if you want like a presentation or a social media post, you can tell Canva that's what you want, describe what you want, and it'll mock up some designs automatically for you. So that's the second one. Put a pin in that. And then the third one is going to be Canva Code, which is the most exciting one in my opinion. And what this does is you can tell it a game, an app, anything really that you want Canva to make, and it will literally code it for you. So it'll create HTML code to make that game, make that app, etc. And then you can either publish it or you can pull the HTML code to embed it on a website or somewhere else. So that is incredible. We are going to explore that. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it. So the first one we'll explore is creating student activities. And if you're following along with me, let's go ahead and head over to the main page of Canva. So I'm in my main page here. I'm going to click on Canva AI. Then on the bottom, I'll click the option for Create Student Activities. Now from here, I can customize my grade, my subject, my learning purpose. Do I want them to understand a concept, apply knowledge, analyze, evaluate, create, right? There's some different purposes for the activities that you're doing. So you can kind of play around with those. And of course, you can put in your subject, you can put in your grade. Now, if you know an activity that you want to try to make it create, you can put that in. You could put in your grade, your subject, your learning purpose, and you could describe what you want it to be up here. Maybe it's a worksheet for learning vocabulary or something like that. However, for our purposes today, if you just want to see how it works and you don't want to worry about prompting it and all that stuff, you can go to the bottom and just click on one of these inspirations. So these are like pre-made ones that Canva has already created. And this will kind of like get you into what it looks like when it creates these for you. Again, you can create your own, you can customize that, but you can also just browse kind of what it has already created. So I'm going to go ahead and browse these, and I'm going to click one that sounds similar to something that I might use in my classroom. Like I was an English teacher, so maybe I want to do something with an ad decoder. I actually taught journalism. So I'm going to click Add Decoder, and it's going to automatically pop in a prompt for me. Students will plan an essay on advertising techniques, examining how visual and textual elements influence consumer behavior. It's already popped in 7th grade ELA. I'm going to go ahead and change that to 9th grade because I taught high school. From there, I'm going to click Enter, and it's going to craft some things for you. So first, it'll craft your learning objectives, and then it will craft some activities. So here's your learning objective. If you don't like that, you can always go back and reprompt it. And then you can choose which activities to generate, and you can generate multiple. You can also refresh these and get brand new options. So let's say I want to do an essay planning workshop and I want to do a narrative. Sure. I'm going to click Generate. And from there, it's going to kind of run my designs that I'm asking it to create. So it'll take a minute to generate those. Alrighty, as you can see, it generated 2 activities, the 2 that I asked it to. So I can just click open, or I can click on the actual folder here. So I'm going to click open. And here is the activity. Now note that this is completely customizable. So it gives me a teacher guide. If I keep going down, here's like my instructions. Again, this is completely editable, customizable. I don't have to worry about, well, I don't like this part of it. Maybe I don't like the consumer behavior portion. I'm just going to delete that completely. I don't want it in there. I can easily do that. It gives me some tips for research. Again, if I don't like this, I can change it. Find your essay's big idea, building your thesis statement, time to map your essay. So it builds that activity for me right in Canva. And it's a great place to start. You know, just like anything with AI, I wouldn't recommend taking and just not even looking at it and printing it out and putting it in front of your students. But this took way less time than me having to format all this myself, having to think about how I want it structured myself. It's a great starting place that I can then go in and decide, well, maybe I don't like this portion, or I want to add this in. And that's very easy to do with Canva. All right. So that is the creating student or generating student work, student activities. That is what it does. That's its only function right now. I anticipate in the future they will continue to fill that up and it will be more robust. All right, let's go ahead and move on to AI design. So this is the other, or one of the other Canva AI choices. So right now I have create student activities toggled. I actually need to X out of that completely to get my other choices back. So just remember, click the X so you can get all your choices back. Once I click the X, I have all of my options once again, and I'm going to go to the Design tab. So I'm going to click on Design. And from there, I am given options for what type of media I want to create. So let's say for a teacher, I'm guessing you would use presentation quite a lot for like slides for your classroom. But I'm actually going to choose logo because I think that that's a quick way just to demonstrate how the tool works. So I'm going to click logo. And then when I do that, I'm going to go down to my options down here. Again, you could prompt this and say, I need a school mascot for my club, or I need a logo for my classroom. You know, you could prompt anything you want. You could describe how you want it designed, what style you want it in. Do you want it in 3D? Do you want it cartoony? Do you want it anything that you want? You just tell it what you want. But then below that, you have some options for just some ones that they have given you as samples. So I'm going to click on this one for organic juice bar because I just want to see what it does. So I'm going to click logo for my organic juice bar, and it's going to pop up a chatbot interface. So it's going to be chatting back and forth with me, similar to ChatGPT or Gemini. And as you see, it automatically generates some logos for my juice bar, which is, I think is very funny, like my teacher juice bar. But yes, it says Purely Press, Juice Haven, Pure Press. And if I don't like those, I could click more logo designs. I could click with vibrant color palette. It's kind of giving me some options here. Or I could prompt it. I could say, I like these, but I want them to be in a bright 3D style render. It's going to think about that, similar to how ChatGPT or Gemini would. And then it's going to map out brand new logos for me based on what I gave it. So yeah, that looks pretty cool. I like this one here. And again, you can keep like kind of toggling over and having it generate ideas for you. It'll do this with social media posts. It'll do this with if you run a club that has a social media or you run the school's social media. It'll do this with presentations. It'll do this with pretty much anything you needed to design. A poster, if you run a club and you need to do a poster for your upcoming event or your upcoming meetings, or you run a sport and you need it to create a social media post to share with your parents. this will automatically give you a place to start. Think of it kind of like a template that you would normally use in Canva, but it's a template that you've prompted. So you've created what you want the template to be versus having to scroll through that template library for eons and eons. If I click on one of these, so I say, yep, I want to use that, I can immediately use the Canva editor on it and go into Canva and start messing around with it in Canva. So I could, do some background remover stuff. I could edit like the colors here. So I can go in and edit that further as I would want to. So that is AI design in Canva. So let's go ahead and go back to Canva Code. Now, like I said, Canva Code is a crazy, crazy tool in that you can ask it to design interactive, coded things for you. So what does this look like practically? You can have it create an interactable timeline where your students are clicking on different parts of the timeline and learning facts as they go. You can create a flashcard game for students. You could create a dice rolling game for students. You could create literally the sky's the limit, any type. You could do a choose your own adventure. I've seen some teachers create basic things like timers. They want specific timers where when this goes off, it makes this type of noise or it does this kind of animation. You can make anything with this that your mind can imagine. So let's go ahead and go back to our home page of Canva. Again, I'm in Canva AI. And if I need to, I'll have to click the X on design or create student activities to get all my options back. And then I'm going to click code. And from there, it gives you some kind of like plug and play options, but I can also describe what I want the code to do. So I can say, make a game that does this, and then I can let it run. And if I don't like what it did, I can like literally reiterate it. I can say, actually, can you change this? Actually, can you add this? For our purposes, I'm going to go down and I'm going to have it create an interactive historical timeline. I'm just going to do one of their plug and plays to show you how it works. So I'm going to click create an interactive historical timeline. And it's going to put that prompt up in the chat box. This one's going to do ancient civilizations, but you could do a timeline on anything. One of the major wars, civil rights movement, literally anything you want. I'm going to click submit, and it's going to pull up another kind of chatbot interface for me. From there, it's going to do something that looks incredible, which is write the code for you. So you see, it's literally writing the HTML code in real time. And this will take a minute to do. And at first you might think, I don't understand what's happening here. That's kind of the point. You don't have to know how to code. You don't even have to know what's happening. It does it for you. This is something that a coder who knows HTML code would have to go in and create all this by themselves, by hand. Now you as a teacher can go in and just automatically have it created for you. All right, let's take a look at what it did for me. So from here, I can see that I can click on each of these different milestones in ancient civilization, and it will expand them into more reading for my students. So I can go through, I can click on all of these, I can expand. I also think it like visually helps students understand how these things all fit together. Like this came before this came before this. So if I like this, I can take it as is. If I don't, I can keep prompting it over here in the chat box to do something else. So I could say, I don't like that the background is black. Can you change it to white? I actually want you to include this ancient civilization as well. And it will do it for you. It'll rerun the code, and then it'll give you a new code. So if you want to share this with students, what do? The first thing you can do is just publish it. If you publish it, it will give you a unique URL that you can share with your students. So you could put this on your Google Classroom, you could put this on your LMS, whatever you use to distribute links to students. You just click publish, and then you can copy that URL. The other way you can do it is if you have a place where you want it to display. So let's say you have a teacher website, a Google site, and you know how to embed HTML code. If you are like, I'm an HTML person, which I am, so I understand how that works. Let's say you're not, kind of ignore this part, but if you are, you can click show code, and then you can just click copy code and paste that into anywhere that has an embed feature, and it will automatically pop up in your Google site, pop up on your website. Maybe like tell your, admin or IT crew who runs your website, like your school website, tell them about this. Maybe they can create some interactive elements to put on your school website for teachers, for students, that gives your information in a little bit more of a visual way versus like a long web page of just scrolling through information, right? So this is awesome. You can do anything with this. Like I said, you can literally create games where students have to drag and drop flashcards into different buckets. You can create choose your own adventures where they click options, do this or do that, and it gives them branching pathways. You can create, escape rooms for students with this. Make sure you test them all the way through before you give them to students, but you can keep like going with this as much as you have creativity for it. Another thing that's coming down the pipeline, I don't know if it's available right now for us, but it will be coming, is that in the future, you will be able to simply edit straight from the code itself. So right now, like I can't edit this. It doesn't give me that option. In the future, I'll be able to edit it directly. So if I don't like this font, I can just highlight it and change the font. You will also in the future, based on what the Canva crew is saying, be able to get data on specific users and how they've used your code. So that might also open up some possibilities to do like gamified exams or assessments with this, because you'll be able to see the data on how many students got correct based on your students. So that's another thing coming down the line. All right, friends, we're going to get into some Design Studio AI tools now. So that, like I said, is kind of the big Canva AI overface. That's going to be your chat bot. That's going to be like your collaborator. It's going to generate things for you. Now we're going to get into, once you're actually creating a design, what are some different ways that you can use AI to power up your designs to do things just a little quicker, just a little faster? So again, this is going to be things when you're in the design studio, you're working on a poster, a presentation, you're editing a photo. These are going to be really, really fun ways to just supercharge your process and make sure that you can get things done even quicker and even more efficiently. So the first thing is going to be Magic Switch. So again, if you have this presentation here, we're mostly going to be working in this presentation for the rest of today. So ltc.site /AI Canva workbook. You can work in that or just follow along. So what is Magic Switch? It's a way to switch your content from one design type to another in a quick way. So what does this look like? It looks like you can take a design and you can transform it. So you can, for example, instantly turn a presentation into a doc or instantly transform a poster into a doc. You can resize it. So you can instantly turn a square image into a poster-sized image, into a thumbnail. And you can also translate. So you can translate from English over into over 100 different languages. Again, with all translation tools, just make sure that, those translations, or you let people know that those translations might not be 100% accurate, but they're getting more and more sophisticated every single day. So this means you can change something like a whiteboard brainstorm. So let's say you're working in Canva on a whiteboard, you can change it into like a document with some action items. So, okay, here's all of our ideas. Now what's the next step? You can instantly make it into a doc. So we're going to try this with this presentation here. So while I'm in this presentation, I'm going to go up to this trusty button that says resize. And when I go into resize, if I scroll down, I have my Magic Switch options. I'm going to click transform into doc. And then from there, I'm going to choose what type of document I want. So I can either type a specific doc, I can customize my chat response, or I can just choose a plug and play. So for our purposes, I'm going to choose blog post, and I'm going to click transform into doc. It's going to think about it and process that. And then when it is done, it will pop up and it will say, open my doc, look at my doc, and it'll be a separate Canva design. So you can find it on your homepage. It'll live separately than your presentation that you're in right now, but it'll be a brand new type of piece of media. So again, you can transform it into a blog post. You can transform it into a summary. There's lots of things that you can do with it. So when it's done, I'm going to click Open Doc. It's going to open in a separate tab. And here is the complete kind of like overview of this presentation. So it's going to give me just a basic summary of what this presentation is about in a doc format instead of in a presentation format. Again, this is fully editable, so I can do anything I want with this. I can change it, I can edit it. I do not have to keep what is on this page, but it quickly transforms it into something else. Let's go ahead and go back here and just real quick look at those other two options. So just like I said, you can translate from here. So to do that, you would click translate and you would select your language. There's over 100 languages in there. And then you can translate it and it will make a separate copy of this presentation in a different language. If you want this one to be translated, like you want this copy to be translated, you would just click this little checkbox here and it would take this copy and make it a different language versus making a copy of it into a different language. So you can kind of choose which one works best for you. You can also just resize this into anything you want. So let's say you don't want it to be a presentation anymore. You want to make it into a poster, or let's say you have a custom size, like this is not the right size you need for a presentation or a conference or something you're going to. You can just automatically resize it like into a piece of paper. Let's say you need to print these. So you could change it into an 11 by 8 by 5 inch. And you would click copy and resize, and it would make a separate copy for you in that size. Note that when you resize, you might have to kind of mess with things a little bit to get them back in their original positions. So you might have to kind of scribble on it a little bit and jimmy it around, but it's better than starting from scratch because everything will just transfer over to that new one and you can kind of just adjust it slightly. So that is Magic Switch. So the next one is Magic Animate. So what is this? How many of you guys have ever been in a Google slide presentation and you've had to go through and animate every single little piece of that Google slide presentation, piece by piece by piece by piece, and then it takes a bunch of time because, you know, you have to click on everything when you want it to come in, come out, in, fade out, right? So Canva realized that that was a problem and that takes a lot of time. So they created an AI way to animate all your slides in one go. Pretty incredible. So how do we do that? We're going to do that with this presentation here. So from now on, this presentation will have animations in it because I'm going to magic animate the whole thing. So again, I'm just going to click on the background of my slide. I'm going to select the whole slide. And I'm going to click animate. When I click animate, I still get all of my basic animation functions where I can click, you know, and animate piece by piece how I want these to all come in. But at the top, you'll see that there is an option to magic animate. And this instantly animates all the pages and all the elements in a style that you choose. So when I click this, I get to choose, do I want it to be bold? And notice that it will show me what it looks like. We'll click professional. And from there, note that all of my slides now have this little bubble between them. And that is an animation bubble. So it has animated my entire presentation. It's not doing it now because I'm not in presenter mode. I would have to like full present, but when I do, it's going to animate between each of the slides because it has these animations in there now. And so that just animated my entire presentation in one click. No longer have to go through and pick each part and click what I want it to do. However, if I still did want to do that, I certainly could. Let's say I'm going through my presentation, I'm previewing it, and there's something that pops up in a way that I just don't like. I can always go back in, click on that specific piece of text or that specific element, and click animate, and I can reanimate it however I want. I don't have to be stuck with whatever it gives me, but it's a great way to just animate everything right from the get-go. So the next one is Magic Write. And what is Magic Write? It is an AI-powered way to rephrase and help you with writing tasks in Canva. So again, think of this like when you're in your Gmail and you have that little Gemini Write for Me button that comes up and is like, hey, I can help you. That's exactly what this is. So on the next page, you'll see that there's a text box here. You can go ahead and click on it. I'm going to click on mine, and I'm going to click this button that says Magic Write. And when I click on that, I can do quite a few things. I can generate a quiz based on this writing. I can rewrite it. I can transform the text. I can fix spelling. I can make it more fun, more formal. I can change the voice. All kinds of things I can do. So I'm going to click Rewrite just for our purposes. And it is going to automatically rewrite it into something else. If I like that, I could click Replace. I could add it below. So instead of like replacing the whole thing, it would just add it right below that. I could just copy it, and that would copy whatever is in here without changing this at all. I could also say, yeah, I want more like this. Just give me another generation. Okay, I like that one better. Or I could say this but, and if I say this but, I could prompt it further. This but, make it really fun, like it's for a marketing campaign. I spelled campaign wrong. And then look, get ready to dive into the exciting world, right? So it really like rewrites that for me. So I'm going to click Replace. That's pretty big, so I'm going to double click that and just bring the font down on that. There we go. And it automatically replaced it, rewrote it. No problems whatsoever. Didn't have to think through that. And I could just keep prompting it until I got something that I wanted. Let's go ahead and try that one more time. So I'm going to click that again. I'm going to click the pencil. I'm going to click Magic Write. And then from there, I'm actually going to click More Fun. Kudos culture is like a workplace party where high fives and pats on the back are on the menu. Okay, sure. I'm going to click Replace, and it replaces that automatically for me. All right, let's keep going. So we're going to go ahead and hop into some video and audio tools now. So not only does Canva provide you a way to animate, a way to do different resizing, to Magic Write, it also provides a lot of cool tools when you're working with things like video and audio. So if you're a teacher that, maybe you're making a video to send out to parents, or you are doing podcasting with students, you can work through some of these AI-powered tools that will do some pretty awesome things for you. So the first one is that you can play with AI voice. And just like someone in the chat said, there is an option to generate an AI voiceover of your content. So the way that you would do this is if you had a video, and on that video you had some text. Like here I have written out POV, you're a social media manager. From there, I can go to Magic Write, and I can click Generate AI Voice. And when I click that, it is going to put the text up here in the text box. So this is exactly what it's going to read out to me. And it lets me select whether I want Lisa or Ralph. So I'm going to listen to Ralph.
Pav, you're a social media manager and every scroll counts as market research.
So note how it said POV instead of POV. I'm going to try to make it say point of view because that's what POV means, and we'll see if it does it.
Point of view. You're a social media manager and every scroll counts as market research.
So when I generate that AI voice, it is going to add it into that presentation. And so now if I were to export this as a video, it would have that audio underneath. So instead of it just being the captions, now it's going to have a voice reading your captions out loud. This could be really great for accessibility for your students. So if you have text that you want read aloud, you can do it this way. You can even generate captions easily from the font option over here. So if you go to text, because this video doesn't have any audio, it's not going to show. But normally if your video has audio, it'll show a little button here that says generate captions. So you can actually generate captions for videos if you like record yourself and then you want to generate captions to go along with that for accessibility. You can go ahead and click generate captions. And then from there, you could choose to AI voice over those captions if you wanted, or you could just use your own voice. That would also be fine. All right, let's keep going. The next one is going to be auto adjust. So we know that there's a lot of photo editors out there where it will kind of look at your photo and tell you, here's what's kind of going on with your photo. Let me just auto adjust it so it's bright enough and it looks clean. Now Canva can do that with video. So not only can you auto adjust photos, you can now auto adjust videos. So if I click on the video, so the video is highlighted, not the text, not the background, but the video. And I go into this edit button right here. And I go into adjust. There is an auto adjust button at the top. You could still go in and, mess with these settings down here if you wanted. But if you click auto adjust, it is going to automatically pop in what it thinks is the most desired brightness, color scheme, etc. So it'll make it just a little bit more cleaned up for you without having to mess with every single little button in here. So again, a quick, easy way to just automatically edit your videos, edit your photos so that they're a little bit cleaner for you. All right, the last video tool that we're looking at is going to be, let me zoom that out for you, is going to be creating highlights. This would be really great if you were like running a club or you had something with maybe your sports team and you had a video, but you don't want to spend all the time editing to get the best parts of that video. What you can do is click on the video that you want to just show the highlights. You want it to just show the best parts of the video. You want it to cut out all the unnecessary stuff. And you click this little trim button at the top. And from there, you have an option to just do highlights. And if I just click highlights, it's going to tell me what it's going to highlight. So it decided that the delicious food display, the beautiful sunset, the fresh salad prep, those were the most important parts of the video. Now for you, you'll probably see, let's say you recorded like a practice, a volleyball practice or something, and you want to get like the highlights out of that. It would probably go through and find like when your students did like a cool spike or a cool dive or they all high-fived each other, and it would find those moments in the video that have less dead space and it would highlight them for you. So when you're happy with that, you can just go ahead and click the back button. And when you play that video, it's going to just run the highlights of that video. So notice how it is clipping through the different parts. It's not playing the full video. So again, a really quick way to just edit through, not have to worry about clipping and editing videos yourself. Let's go over a couple image and editing tools. Now, this is going to be great for those of you who use Canva as kind of your image editor as well. I use it for image editing all the time. It is one of the primary ways that I use Canva. So I'm actually going to skip around here because I don't think we have time for all of them, but I would recommend going back to this presentation and trying out a few of these yourself. So let's do some basic ones. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this magic expand one. So that's going to be the orange background. Let's say you have an image of a staff member and it is cut at the shoulders, but you need more of a torso because it just doesn't fit on the page right. You need them to have a torso. They don't have a torso. It's a selfie. What you can do is click on the image and from there, click the edit button. When you click the edit button, it'll give you some Magic Studio editing options. And these are all the ones that we were going to try out today. We just don't have time for them, but these are all the other slides in this presentation, so you can go back and take a look at them. I'm going to go all the way to the end and I'm going to go to Magic Expand. It has the little ladybug. From there, I'm going to drag my pullers, like my corner pulls, down until I'm going to get more of that torso. Like imagine in your mind, if this person had a torso, I'm going to drag it down and then I'm going to click expand. From there, it's going to think about it and give you 4 options. It's going to like run it through its AI processor and it's going to predict what this would look like if it was fully expanded. Now, notice you might get some weird stuff. So like, what is this? I don't really know. It kind of looks like a shrimp. I'm not sure what that is. That's probably not what we want. This one, to me, looks the most normal. So I am going to choose this one. However, you could generate new results if you get 4 that are really totally wild. You could just generate new results, but I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to click done. And now that is Magic Expanded. So now I have more of that torso. I could like put that on a poster or something. It's just a great way to like get a little bit more out of an image. If you just need that little bit more because it doesn't fit in the space right, you can always expand it. You can do this with anything. You can do this with landscapes. You can do this with photos. Like if you have a photo of yourself that you love, but you're like, it's a selfie and I want a little more, you can always expand those photos. Again, sometimes they do really weird things. Just keep generating results until you get what you want. Let's do 2 more. The next one's going to be your magic grab. So let's say that you have an image like this of like a balloon or any kind of object. Just think of it like an object. You have a pop can on a table, anything, and you want it to exist in a different background. Maybe you have like a background of space or a background of the forest, and you want it to exist in that space. What you're going to do is you're going to click on the image with the object, whatever that object is, and you're going to click the edit button. We're going to go back to our Magic Studio here. I'm going to click over until I find Magic Grab. It's the one with the balloon. Mine just happens to match. I'm going to click Magic Grab and notice that it is going to offer a brush option or a click option or a foreground option. Most of the time, a click is going to be enough where you can click on the image and it'll just highlight it. Sometimes you might have to go into the brush and like physically brush over it, but that can get kind of tricky. So when possible, click, and then you're going to click grab. It's going to think about that because it's going to need a moment. And then you might say, well, Linda, it didn't do anything. It's still there. Now, notice this is like a sticker. So it's going to move directly over whatever you want it to move over. You could put this in front of anything. You could put it in front of a white background. You could put it in front of trees in a forest. You can put it in front of a galaxy. You could put it in front of your school. It doesn't matter. Now this basically acts as a sticker that you can pull over anywhere that you want. All right, let's do one more. And this one I feel like most people know about, but if you don't, you have to know about this. It is a game changer. It is the background remover function. So if you want to just have someone's face and you don't want a background, because let's be serious, sometimes we're making a poster and we have like a picture of students and we're like, we just want the students. We don't want like all the background of the chalkboard, the whiteboard, the football field, whatever you got. You click on your image and it's such a popular tool that they've made it its own button. So you can just click the button BG remover, but you can also find it over in the Magic Studio. It's the beach ball option. It says background remover. I'm just going to click it up here and automatically it's going to pull the background away. So it just, goodbye, no more background. It doesn't exist. You can do that with people. You can do that with like, if you have a landscape that has a mountain and you just want the mountain, but you don't want the actual sky. Like for example, my Tech Treks, the presentation you are currently sitting in, I background removed out these mountains from the sky. And then I was just left with the mountains and I was able to put it on my background. The last thing I think I'm going to just mention, we won't go into it, is that now you can actually create anything that you want with Canva. You can create photos, videos, stickers, graphics, all AI generated with Canva. So the way to do this is to go to your app store in Canva. It's called Apps. And just search Magic Media. And then there's a basic Canva icon called Magic Media. You'll add that to your toolbar. I have mine pinned down here. You might also, but if you don't, you can go in here. And now you can create images, graphics, videos, and now brand new, they just added this like a couple days ago. You can add 3D models that you can literally drag around and look at. So like you could like make like a 3D model of the Earth, and it would be like a globe that students can actually like twirl around and look at. So that's pretty amazing too. So this works just like Gemini or ChatGPT. You just prompt it and it will give you the thing that you want. And if you don't like it, you can regenerate it. So again, one more way to make things using Canva. I hope you had a great hike. We will see you in the future for another tech track.
We'll see you on the next hike.